So here you've seen my video on my scoop that I have redone and made work on my 2017 Mustang and painted. It looks good, and I'd show you what it looks like in the sun, but because I put metallics, mini flakes in the middle, but you can't see it, it's in the shade. But what this video is about is I've took off the factory. This is a performance pack Mustang, and it come with the little ducktail. Well, I'm old school, I didn't like the little ducktail, and so I bought a wing style, which is over there. But what this video is about is how to remove the stupid two-sided tape. So I didn't start the video from the beginning to where I used this car only had 2 screws in it, and when I went to break the bolts loose, bolts instead of screws, 2 bolts, one on each end, one there and one on the other end. The nut insert inside the spoiler kept turning, so I physically had to pull the corner of the scoop up and pull the insert out, threaded insert out of the duct tail, and then it came off. But to get the loose from the two-sided tape, I took fishing line, and I used 30-pound. I should have got the stronger. I thought 30-pound would be enough. I got it underneath there, and I kept working it back and forth, back and forth. But then you got all this stupid glue here from the tape, what's left of the tape. So the easy way to do this, I tried hair blower. It don't work so well. It might have helped a little bit using the scoop. Helped a little bit heating the ducktail spoiler and working the fishing line underneath to get it worked loose. But you got all this. It didn't work very good for that. And I used, I've got some citrus, not glue remover, adhesive remover. And I also tried this buffing pad on this drill. That didn't work either. And I then remembered what I did in moving the stripes decals on my 2010 Mustang. And this is what worked best. You spray it on, let it sit. And what I'm talking about is WD-40. There it is. So it's still a little bit of work. Here I have a plastic scraper so I don't hurt the paint. And I'm going to try to use on this heavier stuff here, I'm going to try to use the hair blower. So I'll cut you back on in just a second. Alright, the longer you let it sit, especially on the heavier stuff, the better it works. You'll have to excuse me, I'm holding with one hand and working with the other. And it's still a slow process. Man, that stuff is really on there. I'm hoping this black scraper, this plastic scraper, and then what little bit's left, I do have some adhesive remover that you wipe on and get stuff off. I'll turn you back on when I'm done. So here's what it looks like with all the glue gone from the two-sided tape and cleaned. And as you can see, there's some dull spots. I don't know if that's from the plastic scraper or what that would show normally. So what I'm going to do is get my buffer out and buff this. It looks like there's where some paint's missing, but the spoiler will cover that up. Besides, I got some little red paint anyway. And over here, as you can see, the dent was up where I pulled on the spoiler, and it pulled the insert out of the spoiler and left the insert, the nut insert, and bolt there. So I tapped it down a little bit, and then I held it, the insert, the nut, with a pair of vice grips with tape around it, and held it tight, and then went underneath and turned the bolts some more, and they come loose easily. They were just, I don't know if they used Loctite on them, but they turned inside the rear spoiler and would never loosen up. They just spun in there, so I had to pull, get them popped out of the spoiler. Not very thick. That plastic was not very thick, so I didn't want to damage the trunk lid. So now I'm going to buff this out, as you can see a little closer, the dull spots. And before I drill my holes for the spoiler. And they said the spoiler would fit and blah, 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 no drilling. Then on down it said you got to drill. Well, yeah, you do got to drill. And then it come with bolts or nuts, which are a 6mm. I believe 6mm by 1. And so I had to go to Lowe's. Had to go in there twice because I thought it would be 8s, and it wasn't. It was 6. But I had the spoiler in the truck. So now I'm going to buff this out, mark it, and drill it. There's no template, no nothing. So you got to be a little bit mechanically inclined.